I frequent this local seafood market in my hometown on the North Fork called Braun's. They've been in business forever. They just brought in a fresh batch of these razor clams. I'm not really sure why these aren't as popular as the clams you're more familiar with, but they should be. They're absolutely delicious. They have this scallop flavor, they're sweet, they're phenomenal. And today we're gonna prepare them over linguini in a creamy garlic wine reduction. About a week ago, I picked up a batch of these and I thought to myself, man, these would be a perfect addition to that Sicilian Christmas feast of the 7 fishes. I thought, man, I don't even need to be Italian to enjoy that one. Razor clams are fairly common, and you could find them on the east and the west coast of the United States, usually in northern regions. You can also find them in Northern Europe and in Japan, so they're not uncommon. I'm not really sure why these don't take off, but they should, because they're unbelievable. These are more popular in the fall and the winter, at least around here. My suspicion is that people shy away from these because they're a little weird. They move too much. They're a little alien-like. Can you eat them raw? Absolutely. They're delicious raw. Should you? The health department doesn't seem to think so. So you gotta be careful when you're eating this stuff raw. Today we're gonna serve these whole. I feel that it gives the most flavor and it makes the greatest presentation in the dish. These are really easy to prepare, but they don't come without their difficulties, and we're gonna tackle each one of them today, no problem. These clams, they like to burrow in the sand, and I'm gonna show you how to purge the sand out of this clam, any mussel, any mollusk you wanna eat. Surefire way to make sure that they're sand free. The dish has to be made a la minute, on the spot. These do not do well if you overcook them. They go from creamy, sweet, scallop-like to rubber bands really fast. Finally, razor clams are super delicate. The minute they pop open when they're cooking, they fall apart from the shell. So you have to be a little careful when you scoop them out of the pan and serve them. Now, it's not gonna change the flavor of the dish, but it will definitely change the presentation. Now, if you follow me on this channel, you know that most of my recipes have very few ingredients and they're simple to make, and this dish is no different. It has very basic ingredients: your clams, your linguini or your quinoa, parsley, lemon, garlic, wine, butter, salt and pepper, and that's it. But before we can even cook them, we have to make sure that they're grit-free. The cook time for this dish is under 15 minutes. The best way to get these clams to spit out their sand is to soak them in cold seawater. Unfortunately, the health department won't allow me to store them in seawater in my restaurant, but that's not a problem because we'll just make some. The enemy of fresh saltwater fish is fresh water. So the only time you really want to rinse any kind of fish with fresh water is just before you're ready to prepare it. Now, some folks, they suggest adding cornmeal to the water that you soak the clams in, and they apparently will eat the cornmeal and spit out the sand. I've never tried it. If you have and that's effective, leave a comment down below. You need to know the ratio of salt to water if you're gonna make seawater. And this bowl here is gonna take 3 liters of water. Every liter of water, you're gonna put 35 grams of Celtic sea salt. Okay, and we're gonna add some hot water to this so we can dissolve it. Why do I use Celtic sea salt, not regular salt? It is more expensive. Does it make a difference? Well, you're basically marinating your clams in it, so you won't have to add salt to the dish later, and boy, it does make a difference. I'm just gonna add some ice cubes to that to make it come up to temperature. What I wanna do is turn on my cold water because that's pretty much where I'm gonna be temperature-wise. Tap water's around 50 degrees. These are in the fridge at 41 degrees. That won't shock them too much. You have to put a strainer underneath the clams while they're purging because otherwise they'll reabsorb that sand. If you're not gonna prepare these clams right away, say you're gonna make them tomorrow, make sure you leave them in the refrigerator outside of the water, and also make sure that you don't put them in a sealed bag because, you guessed it, there's no oxygen in that bag. If you want, and you're really crazy about this, you could leave them in the seawater longer, but you have to add like an aquarium bubbler to it. If you did that, you could probably leave them in there for about 24 hours and they'd be safe. The rule of thumb is this: soak them for an hour and they'll purge off all their sand. Then you're ready to prepare the meal. While the clams are purging in the refrigerator, let's take care of our starch. That's actually gonna take longer to make than the actual clams. I am not going to be eating these with linguine, even though I highly recommend that you eat them with linguine. I don't eat wheat, and I haven't found a really good gluten-free linguine. If you have, please leave a comment down below. I'm always looking for a good linguine. I've mentioned this before on my channel. La Molisana makes excellent wheat-free pastas. They just don't make linguine. So if you know one, leave a comment down below. Today I'm gonna make my quinoa, and I'm gonna add some beautiful, delicious currants to it. The sweetness of the currants, which are not terribly sweet, is gonna complement the brininess of the clams perfectly. The beautiful thing about this dish is if you don't want to have any cream, that's fine. Dissolve a little arrowroot in cold water and thicken it with the arrowroot. If you see these in a fresh fish market, don't pass them up. They're absolutely delicious. It should be an addition to your seafood repertoire. And it should definitely be on your Christmas menu if you celebrate the Feast of the Seven Fishes. If you give this a try, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. And we'll see you again soon.